Thursday like a Friday, but our Thursday includes sports with our guy, Pep. What's up, Pep?
That's why Thursdays are even better. I mean, who likes Fridays anyways, right? Like all the days just kind of blur into each other anyway. So Thursdays are the day right now talking sports. And there is a lot to talk about because, again, by the end of July, now we're in the month of July, but by the end of the month, guys, we are scheduled to have NFL training camps and Major League Baseball and NBA inside the bubble and the Stanley Cup tournament and Major League Soccer. Like everything's going to be popping off. Hopefully, fingers crossed, as we get there.
Yeah, let's get this started. We finally have a little something on the tube.
Yeah, I mean, and we have a Korean Baseball League. I think there's a game just wrapping up right now. So if you're one of those guys who like to find the international sports, they're out there.
Yeah. AFL wrapped up this morning, 2:40 a.m. St. Kilda took it to Carlston. Yeah, Carlston.
That's what happened.
40's my middle of the night sports guy. Like he finds the rugby or Australian rules football or whatever's out there. You find it, 40.
I'm telling you, man, the Aussie rules football is entertaining. I'm trying to get people to pick teams here. Kono actually picked St. Kilda, and they are dominating ever since Kono backed them as his team.
He's into it.
So, yeah, Kono's got the magic touch.
I guess I'm gonna take your word on that one, but yeah, there are some international sports. Like if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can probably find some stuff, live sporting events out there if you try real hard. But we will have some stuff going on in the United States very, very soon. The bad news, though, we found out, we kind of saw the writing on the wall, was that Major League Baseball was saying that we're not sending players to the minor league affiliates, thus canceling the entire minor league season. So we got no Sixers, we got no Quakes, we got no Storm, all minor league baseball across the country canceled. But that kind of opens the door. We mentioned this the other day, and I contacted the Quakes, and it's not set in stone yet, but there are some rumors that the Dodgers could be having some of their spring training out at Lone Mart Field in Rancho Cucamonga. Again, it's not confirmed, but there's talks.
That's very cool. We'll take anything, right?
Yes, and it probably won't be open to the public. It's not like fans can just run down there and get like autographs and stuff, because of the time that we're living in and the social distancing. But it's still pretty cool to think they could be in our backyard doing some spring training on this start of the season. So we got more Major League Baseball stuff to talk about, NFL, a little NBA as well. It's all brought to you by Matheson Gas. They are the gas professionals. It's 4th of July weekend. A lot of you folks will be hanging out in your backyard on the IE, barbecuing. If you're doing that, you can get your propane refill at Matheson Gas. You can visit them online at mathesongas.com. A location in Rancho Cucamonga, one in Fontana, one in Riverside. So I'm sure there's one close to you. So if you need gas for the grill, you need gas for your local business, go to Matheson Gas because they are the gas professionals. So Major League Baseball, the teams started reporting yesterday, and it looks like, for example, like the Dodgers and Angels will have their first on-field workouts beginning on Friday at their home stadium. So it's happening. They're together now and practicing.
Spring training 2.0 in the summertime.
Going down?
It's going to look kind of weird being in their home ballparks, but again, what's normal, right, at this point of our lives right now. But, they will have spring training there. And then when you switch gears to the NFL saying that, training camps will start July 28th. So in a couple more weeks, we'll see them out on the field. But what they announced yesterday was they are cutting 2 of the preseason games. So basically, they're going to cut off the first one, which was scheduled to be August 13th, and they're going to cut off the final one. So if you're looking at the calendar, it would be the first week of preseason games for the NFL would now be August 20th. So a little bit of a delay and only 2 preseason games leading into the season.
I bet you the players are stoked.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of, as the NFL owners have wanted to extend the regular season, that was kind of the talk anyway about maybe shortening the preseason. So this is kind of maybe a toe in the water to actually make that happen.
Exactly. Maybe, they'll cut them off this year, but they want to turn them into real games next year.
Right.
No, you're right, because this has been a conversation in the NFL for a while now, that they didn't want 4 preseason games. They were like, hey, if you want more regular season, cut down our preseason, cut it down, and then maybe we will be more open to having a longer regular season. And it looks like, the coronavirus has forced a lot of us to kind of be nimble and pivot a little bit. And now we're having to maybe experiment and try new things that we wouldn't have. And the NFL is now cutting preseason games like a lot of people wanted originally, just because.
That's it. I think it's good for the fans. I think it's good for the star players. It affects those guys who are on the bubble trying to make the roster, though. It's less chance for them to show what they can do. But unfortunately, we don't know them, so fans don't want to see them.
That is kind of true, and maybe that does go to show that maybe that really is what preseason is for, is not for our great players, but for these kids trying to make the team.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're right. And, the flip side of that, you could make an argument that now with training camps for the NFL starting on July 28th and the first preseason games not till August 20th, they're going to have like a month of training camp. And these coaches are really smart guys. If you can't find out who's your studs in a month, then maybe you shouldn't be coaching.
And we get to see our two LA teams on Hard Knocks with that extended time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that going to be interesting? Like, I'm kind of more into Hard Knocks this year because what is training camp going to look like? Because I'm just talking to like local high schools and colleges, and their workouts are kind of wacky right now with social distancing and sanitizing everything and not using even a ball in practice. I mean, what's an NFL camp going to look like?
I think it could look very different. These guys are used to routines, and they are out of their routine. So I think anything could happen this year.
Yeah, Hard Knocks is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of NFL teams too. They have these traditional training camp sites where you go off site and you go to, let's say, like a local university, or the Raiders will always go to Napa. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it looks like like they're going to try to stay at their team facility again. Like we're going to transition to the NBA in a second, but the NBA is in a bubble. In the NFL, I think these training camps are going to kind of be like a bubble. Like, here's our training camp site. You're going to live here. You're going to work here. You're going to eat here. You're not going to leave. This is our camp. You're going to be here for a month. So just hunker down.
Right.
I mean, that kind of makes me think, not to shoot off too far, that college football will actually work because let's remember, all college campuses now have a practice bubble. I'll never forget when I was at Washington State University, they had a practice bubble, so all the players could be in there when it's real cold out or whatever, so they could practice. Now that bubble kind of comes to be effective.
If colleges don't have students, how can you justify a student athlete?
Well, you're just going to have to admit that they're not a student athlete.
That's the biggest thing.
They're not worried about that. They're worried about money.
So all these things you have to negotiate right now, including just how do you keep the guys safe and together and in this bubble, if that's the way it's going to work out, like it is with
follow the NBA.
And speaking of the NBA, hey, there's video now of LeBron and Anthony Davis and the bunch of the Lakers back at the training facility in El Segundo, gearing up to go deep into the bubble in Orlando very, very soon.
Here we go, 40. You ready for the ride?
I cannot wait for the NBA. I'm so excited for this tournament.
I know, NBA madness. I can't wait. I think we should have a bracket, you guys.
Yeah, you know what? I would not mind, and they're not doing it this way, but I would not mind if they did it like seriously, like March Madness, like single elimination. Like you put all the teams and just win in advance. If you lose, you go home. I know it would not fly because there's too many games and there's too many TV games, and you got to make the money on your revenue there. But like a one and done March Madness tournament for the NBA, I think would be amazing. But it won't happen.
NBA madness. It won't happen, but it would fit this year so perfectly. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Hey, it's Inland Sports. Go check us out on social media right now. There was some breaking news last night that UCR's basketball coach, UC Riverside's David Patrick, who set a school record for wins. He's leaving to go to the University of Arkansas as the associate head coach with Eric Musselman, who's a former NBA coach, and he was the coach at Nevada, big-time coach. So we're losing our guy DP. He's such a great guy, but best of luck. You can find that out on social media right now. More on David Patrick.
Thanks, Pat.